Okay, question number 3, which is the last question, is this container. I suppose it looks a bit like a container with a sealed lid arrangement at the top. The things to notice on this are, here we have a cross-sectional view of the object. So it's got a constant wall thickness around the sides of 3.5mm. We've got a circular profile at the bottom going to a square profile at the beginning of the lip feature, and then the lip feature is added on top of that. So we've got this 300mm dimension which takes us up to this line here, which is this line right here, and then this shape is built on the top of it. So to do that, we've got to go from a circle to a square, which would suggest a lofted tool. Hollow it out so that it's constant wall thickness using the shell tool, and then use the sweep tool to drive this lip profile all the way around the rim at the top. There are radii, so a 50mm blend radius around the bottom and around the corners of the square as well. Right then, so for this exercise I'm going to begin working on the top plane. Choose my create a sketch. I'm going to start by drawing my circular base. Give it a dimension which is 250mm, and exit that sketch. The next step is to create the square profile, and to do that I need to create a reference plane that's offset from my top plane through 300mm. So I choose my reference plane command. First reference is my top plane, and make the offset 300mm. So click to accept that. So there we've got the correct position for that. I can now create a sketch on that new plane. Now, to keep the origin central to both components, I'm going to use a center point rectangle. Start there, draw my center point rectangle. I want it to be a square, so I'm going to add relation between those vertical and horizontal edges so that they're equal to each other. So select one, hold Control, select the other, and choose equals. Alternatively, use add relation and pick the two edges and choose equal. And then with a single dimension of 300mm, I can create the size. Now, to put my corner radiuses on, I'm going to use the fillet tool. That's a 50mm corner blend radius. This is just telling me that because I'm putting a radius on the corner, the midpoint relation is going to move. And just click yes, because when we create the other ones, it will automatically self-center itself back again. So click the tick to accept that. Okay, so if you look at that from above, you can see a nice even shape. And click to accept. So now I've got my sketches, I'm ready to do the loft. I can choose the lofted boss base tool and go from my circle to my square. I don't need to make any changes, it's accepted that okay. If for any reason you don't get a preview, you may need to just move your green definition points so that they are in alignment with each other, and it can then calculate the lofted form. So accept that. Last blend radius on the bottom I need to add now. I can use the fillet tool. So create my fillet, 50mm, pick the edge at the bottom, and that gives us the external form around the bottom. And then to get the hollowed out shape, I use the shell tool, working with a 3.5mm wall thickness. Pick the top face as the open face and click the tick. And that gives us the shape up to the beginning point for the swept lip feature. Okay, so the lip feature is going to be swept around, and we have an edge here which we can use to drive that form about. So all we need to do is create the profile, which will be the lip, and we can do that on either the front plane or the right plane. I'm going to choose the front plane, create a sketch. Now the easiest thing to do here is to view the sketch normal to the screen. Now it may be a good idea to hide the planes before we do this, because this plane here is sitting on the edge and makes it a little bit difficult to see everything. So if you go to hide planes, then that just turns off the visibility of our plane number 1. Now if I just move my mouse so you can see the icon is showing it's an edge selection. If I pick that and choose convert entities, it converts the profile edge onto my sketch plane. I can then convert that into a construction line, and that is going to be our line from which the other information that we draw will be made parallel to. So let's just look at it's flat on again, normal to, it's gone the other way around, I just worked with the same orientation. Okay, now I can start constructing the lines again, just in the same way as we've done in the other 2 questions, just roughly draw out the lines, being careful to make sure that you've got the appropriate relations that are being built in. So we do want horizontal relations on horizontal lines, we don't want vertical relations on vertical lines. Right, we're going to start by drawing some of the profile. Doesn't matter how rough you are at this stage, as long as we don't have any relations in there that we don't want, i.e. sort of keeping things vertical if they're supposed to be on a slight angle. So there's a rough shape for our component. I can turn the line tool off, and now I can use relations and dimensions to fully define that. You can see we've got some parallel relations in here already. I want all these lines to be parallel with each other. At the moment those are parallel with each other, those are parallel with each other. So if I choose add relation and just pick all these angled lines and our construction line here and choose parallel, they all become parallel with each other and the construction line. I also want, clear selections there, this line to be collinear with our construction line. That's brought that in line there, so that's in the right position. Next, I can start adding my dimensions. I want that to be 5mm. to pull this down, otherwise it can put the relation on the wrong way. And that too. So those are all my verticals. I can now look at the horizontals. So I need to zoom that in there, and there, and there. I don't know that one. I want 2mm across there, and that is 3.5. Okay, we've got our fully defined sketch, which is now ready to conduct the sweep. So complete the sketch, choose my swept boss base, choose the profile, and then choose the path. And that completes the sweep. Now the final bit is to put all the fillet radiuses on, so 0.5 fillet radius on all the sharp corners of the swept section. Again, it might be easier to do this as a cross-sectional view. I choose my fillet, set it as a 0.5mm radius. I've changed mine for no preview. I know what the fillets are going to look like, and having the preview on does mean that the refresh time is increased. Oh, choose the wrong thing. And it can also make it rather difficult to see what's happening. So spin round, pick the edges, if you do accidentally select a face or something that you don't want to pick, just either right click and delete it from the selection box here, or pick it again to deselect it. I think I've got everything selected there. Click the tick. We'll soon be able to see. Oh, I've missed one there. If you do miss one, just right click, edit, and add it in. And that's all done. So turn off the section view, and that will complete exercise 3.